See, is everything working? Activate camera. Activate camera. Let's make sure. Deactivate. All right, we're calibrating. We gotta calibrate for this intro. We are back after 1 week of silence. We are back, baby. Back and better than ever. Holy shit. Oh shit, there it is. I've changed the setup. If you haven't noticed, setup is completely different. But all right, yeah, enough of that. Yeah. All right, let's get started, man. It's time to go. We're back for day 6. Was off for a week trying to fix shit up, reorganize this channel because it's been all over the place. This, where is it? I need to add a display capture. Yep. Oh. Boom. We're back. Back and better than ever. What if I turn on?
So as you can tell, I
The infinite scrolling.
Hi, in this tutorial I want to show you how to make a parallax effect that looks a little something like this. It's a very simple effect, so let's just get right into it. So here's a little background I made in Photoshop. The most important thing here when you make your background is that you put each of the different parts of the background on different layers. So as you can tell, I have a separate layer for each part of my background. The other important thing is that your background should end and start at almost exactly the same height. If it doesn't, it's going to look a bit weird, so just make sure that this is in place. I don't really like the background, and also you can go ahead and add blur to the different parts of the background. So you'll have a little something like this, which makes it look a bit better and more focused on the foreground, I guess. But now that we have our background, let's jump into Unity. Okay, so I have my empty project here in Unity, and the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and make a new folder, call it background, and in this background folder I am going to drop in all of my background parts. Once they're done importing, what you want to do is go to your main camera. And this is because we want to move the background relative to the camera. Okay, so once you've made your background game object, you want to go ahead and drag every single one of your background parts onto the background game object. You can't really drag them all at the same time. Don't really. We are going live and then fun. But this is going outside of the screen, which is a problem. So we're gonna select all of our background parts, hit Control D twice, and then we're gonna extend them to the right and also to the left. So you want to try and match it like this, but I know that my room for actually implementing the create a new. Go ahead and make some the camera.
Is he just gonna send it back to the start every time?
We're also going to need the camera. And finally, we're going to need a public float that will tell us how much parallax effect we're gonna apply. Something like we can select how much position and from there. So we're gonna do length equals get component, and we're gonna get the sprite renderer. We're gonna do bounce.size.x, which will give us the size in x, or the length of the sprites. Now we need to make the background actually move, so we're gonna go into our updates, Let's just make it a fixed update, and we are going to make a temporary value called distance, which is how far we have moved from our start point. So let's do float distance equals cam.transform.position.x times the parallax effect. And this will be how far we have moved in world space. Then we're going to need to actually move the camera, so let's do transform.position equals new vector 3. And we're going to do start pause plus the distance, which is how far we've traveled, and we're going to 1. We're going to have a fast something like that. It looks really good, and the different parts are moving at different speeds. But if we move outside of bounds, you're going to see the background stops, because we haven't made it so the background repeats itself yet. So we need to go back into C# and fix this. Luckily for us, this is a pretty simple fix, so let's do float temp. This is going to be how far we've moved relative to the camera. So let's do cam.transform.position.x times 1 minus the parallax effect. The reason we need 1 minus parallax effect is because, again, it's relative to the camera. Now all we need to do is make a simple if statement. So if temp is larger than the start pause plus the length, we're going to do start pause plus equals length. Else, if temp is less than start pause minus length, we're going to do start pause minus equals length. And that concludes the script. If you go back into Unity now, and we try and play, and we go ahead and move our camera, you're gonna see that the background will keep repeating itself no matter how far you move. So if we go ahead and look in the editor window, you can see that when we reach the end, it's going to repeat itself, and it just continues repeating infinitely. So that concludes this tutorial. I hope you guys found this helpful. You can make some really cool effects with this, and if
Tiny Games is the name of the class that I just finished my recent semester of university. It basically taught us a bunch of different simplistic 8-bit retro game engines. So not your Unity or your Unreal, but things like Bitsy and Twine and PuzzleScript, and of course the holy grail, Pico 8. Now Pico 8 is absolutely adorable. It's what was used to make the arcade version of Celeste that you can play within Celeste. It's all pixel art, but you can do so much with it. Games can look a ton of different ways, but the engine itself looks like this. Well, this is the start screen, but if you press escape, then this is where you write your code, this is where you do your artwork, this is where you make your tile sets, and this is where you program your music. And that's a lot of functionality, honestly. You have all the pillars of game development that you need here in this little tiny 8-bit engine. Now for this Tiny Games class of mine, we had about a month-long unit of purely learning Pico 8 and Lua, which is the programming language that it uses. Now I've done a decent bit of game development, that's obviously why I have this channel, but nothing has challenged me to make so many small projects in such a short span of time outside of this class. But it all had to start somewhere, and it started with Flappy Bird. Recreating basic arcade games or just really simple games is the way to learn game development, in my opinion. Because it forces you to not get caught up in the ideas of the games that you eventually want to make that are probably really complicated, and actually sit down, learn to code, get something made. Flappy Bird is a pretty good one because you don't need a player controller really, you don't have to do a lot of movement. All you really have to do is assign some upwards motion to a little player sprite when you click a button, put some physics on that so it does a little bounce, and then make it to where if you collide with a pipe, death. Those pipes do need to be spawning in at random heights and you need to keep track of a score, but outside of that, there's really not that much to it. All in all, my Flappy Bird was really not that much code. I had this little duck sprite created, which is not my finest work, but it's okay. He's able to flap, he's able to perish, the game is there. It's more of a cave diving thing than it really is Flappy Bird, but the goal is to not hit the edges, so it's the same principle. For this, I was following a written Pico 8 tutorial by Dylan Bennett, which is how my professor taught us most of Pico 8. It gave us all the code that we needed in these little chunks, it explained everything, it was a great foundation for just learning a new engine. But that's boring. So our second Pico 8 assignment was to take this Flappy Bird game and then put some sort of spin on it to make it our own. Some people just made it harder to where the walls will close in faster, other people added bullets or obstacles that you have to dodge. So in my version, you slowly peel back the layers of reality and are faced with the existential question of what your purpose is as this duck. You know, you're flying, but why? Where are you going? Do you have a family that you're flying home to?
What?
Or perhaps you're running away from something. Either way, it doesn't matter. You are nothing more than an arrangement of pixels on this screen, simulating a life that will last eternally.
Right.
You will fly forever at the discrepancy of a player, a stranger, and the only escape is death. So that was my take on Flappy Bird. Anyway, the second game that I made in Pico 8 was following another tutorial from my professor. This time it was for recreating Lunar Lander, another classic arcade game. I'm sure you're familiar, but you have to carefully descend a spaceship, and if you go too fast, then you will crash and die, but you also can't run out of gas by going too slow, and you have to land on a physical crash pad. The same logic that went into randomly generating the cave walls in the first one went into the spikes at the bottom of the screen on this one. I made a little squid-looking guy in place of our spaceship. If you can avoid slaughtering him on the spikes, then you get a little bit of love from him. We were also tasked in upgrading this game in some way and putting our own spin on this one too. Sadly, I went a little bit less existential with this one. I just added bullets that fly across the screen you have to dodge. Cool stuff, very cute. I like the colors that I went with. Now, if I were to really jazz this up, I probably would have randomized the color of the bullets in the octopus every time. But for a 2-day assignment for this tiny games class, we balled. It was at this point that me and my classmates were off on our own. It was time to leave the nest. No more tutorials. We would be writing 100% of the code
Pretty interesting.
ourselves. 90%. And we were done recreating arcade games too. This time we would be getting a prompt, kind of like a game jam, and then having to make a game in accordance to that prompt. In the past for this class, we had stuff like Suburbia, Fragile, things like that. So for our third assignment, the prompt was a shoot-'em-up game. Now, a shoot-'em-up game, which is also called a shmup, I learned, I love that word, is basically any game where you're almost constantly moving forward, shooting forward, and you have to probably collect ammo, destroy little guys that come your way. You're shooting them up, essentially. It's definitely usually like a space game. Now, going into this assignment, I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to take it, but I did know 2 things for sure. 1, I was not gonna make a space game because conformity is weakness, and 2, even if I don't have an idea fully nailed down, the one thing my game development journey has taught me is to just make something anyway. Even if I didn't really know what the shoot-'em-up game was going to be, I knew that I needed a player controller that could shoot bullets, I needed to be able to collect ammo, so I just went ahead and programmed that. But the little cubes that I made actually reminded me a lot of seeds, and that got me thinking of Mother Nature. My mom is very into plants, and she really likes bees, so I had the idea of making the player a bee, and you have to shoot forward at seeds that are incoming in order to pollinate them. This means that the ammo that you pick up can be the pollen, and then if you shoot the seed or the bullet that's incoming, it can grow into a little flower. Now, the goal wouldn't be to just shoot as many flowers as possible, that would be a little bit boring. So instead, every time you pollinate a flower and it grows, that then takes up room on the screen and you can't hit that flower. So now you have to kind of strategically position the flowers in the right spot, or else you run the risk of potentially not being able to get to pollen, you box yourself in, and you have to be very mindful about where you pollinate. Nice. See, now we have an actual game. One benefit of having this project through an in-person class is that we had dedicated days for playtesting. So after I got to test this build of my game, I got the feedback that it'd be nice to have more of a visual indicator for your pollen, and then also just some more variety. So next day, I changed the pollen counter to a visual bar, and I added some more effects for the pollen. They kind of do a little thing side to side now. Really small changes, but they changed the way that the game felt a lot. Programming this game actually wasn't that bad, but if you look closely, you might notice that all the code is in this atrocious pixel art font. I love the commitment to the aesthetic, guys, but why can I not scroll horizontally? Why do I have to arrow key over
What?
to the end of the line and then inevitably miss it and then go back up and do it again? There's a chance that I'm just missing something with the controls, and our final project was to use Starfall PR. Or, sorry, that's actually not our final project, but that is today's sponsor. Starfall PR offers affordable publishing guidance for recently, which is the largest game development conference in the world. This is one, okay, they understand the indie games affordable and can work your experience. For the final project of my Tiny Games class, we could use any engine that we had used in the class so far, and we could make literally any game given that we put enough effort into it. That sounds great, that sounds nice to have so much creative freedom. But if you've ever made a game before, you probably know that having some kind of restriction is actually really nice. The more open-ended a project is, the easier it is to spend in the ideation phase before you actually make anything. My first idea was to go real existential with it and recreate the Chrome no Wi-Fi dinosaur game, except break the fourth wall, the dinosaur knows he's in a game, and you basically have to try and save him before your internet connection comes back. I didn't hate that idea, but I wanted to do something that was more gameplay focused than narrative focused. I have a habit of coming up with really cool sounding game ideas that have really strong narratives, and then coming up with the gameplay to try and accommodate that concept, which isn't necessarily doomed for failure, but in my experience, it's a lot better to find a fun mechanic or a fun gameplay loop and then worry about the story or the narrative. So I kicked the dinosaur idea to the curb and I tried to come up with a new one, and lo and behold, I found this. This was some abandoned art from an old platforming game that I had abandoned years ago. The concept here was pretty much a color-based platformer where you're only able to land on platforms of the same color. So you'd have to maybe jump and then mid-air switch again, parkour, like have some cool platforming sequences that involve switching quickly. Not necessarily a super complicated project, but I guess I abandoned it nonetheless. But this seemed like the perfect opportunity in Pico 8. I decided that there would be 3 colors, just to keep it nice and simple, and you'd phase through anything that isn't the same color as you. Now, the hardest part of coding this was actually the collision system. Switching the colors with a button is fine, landing on the right platform depending on your color is also not that hard, but it was the random niche situations that proved to really require some thinking. I kind of made my own viewport to where the camera would follow the player, which was a little bit janky, it was a little bit slow, so it didn't do a perfect job at detecting collisions, especially when the collision would change to a different color. I also had to figure out questions like, what if you were halfway on one color and halfway on another? What happens if you jump over a block and then you switch to that color? Should you jump on top of the platform? Should you be pushed down? You can probably answer those questions, and it probably depends on like what % of the player is over what color, but to actually implement it and code that was probably my biggest struggle. The final version of the collision system has it to where if you're at all colliding with a color and then you switch to that color, you'll just teleport to the top of the block. Is that ideal? No, definitely not. But can I use that for some cool platforming sequences? Probably. See, that's right, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Making the levels was also a bit of a pain. I'm definitely used to the privilege of visual engines where you can drag and drop platforms in order to make the game. I had to manually program the exact coordinates of every wall, which, now that I'm saying it, I realize there is a tile system that I probably could have used, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I ended up with 3 levels of increasing difficulty. If I had more time, I definitely would have put more effort into the physical layout design of the levels, and I also probably would have changed the art, but I kind of like the simplistic bold style that I've got going. Also, isn't the difference between this and this like kind of crazy? Like literally all that I did was just take out the 4 corner pixels and suddenly it looks a lot cleaner and a lot more professional. For a Pico 8 game, which is meant to be visibly simplistic, you know, I think it works. After something like this, I have so much sympathy for process what making alone in my room versus is massive. In past game development videos, I've always emphasized the need for a community because it uplifts you so much. But this just really drilled it home for me how important that is. Having people to bounce ideas with, being able to close your
Fuck, actually open Premiere Pro. You know? What the fuck is What's my cat doing here? Bro, me no. Me no. Why doesn't... Bro. Yo. Why is it doing this? Why is there two? What the fuck? Display capture 3. Oh, it's up here. Give me a second, guys. My bad, guys. I'm back. Gotta work on this. I don't know. I don't know if I like how this is going, honestly, man. You know what I should do? Oh, I know what I should do. I know what I should do. And the camera's fucking bugged, so I'm just gonna stop using the camera. That's just so annoying at this point. Yeah. I know what I gotta do. I know what I have to do. I go to the enemy handler script. Let's make a timer. Fuck it. Serialized field. Oh shit. Private and short timer. Well, shoot timer. I'm gonna make another one. Shoot rate. Oh shoot rate. What the fuck? Oh shit! I think they should go in fixed update. No. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I should. Actually, let me look up the difference because I know there's a difference between shoot update and just like the regular one. Oh, I mean, fucking fixed update versus update C sharp. So yeah, they should definitely go with this other engine. Okay. Fixed update. Yeah, that's for sure. In that case, how are we making it a function? Oh fuck. I should see something. This is what we're doing right now, so I'm gonna pin it. Try to avoid on trigger. this could all. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna just put it. Private void. I don't know. What should we call it? Enemy shoot. Let's call that. Private void enemy shoot. So this is unrelated to the timer. I don't know. Does the bullet have its own script? It does, right? Yeah, it does. So I could just probably. Well, no. Yeah. So what I did here with the bullet was, I don't know if this is the way you're supposed to do it, but I did it in a way that was like, when the bullet fires, the bullet has its own script to move itself instead of it kind of being hooked up to the player. But that might be a good thing. I'm not completely sure yet, but yeah, I'm gonna make the enemy bullets a different color, so I gotta go to Photoshop. I gotta make it like green or something. Oh, I mean, yeah, I think, honestly, hold on, let me watch a couple of Space Invaders, just so I can get a better idea. Let me play some Space Invaders. Fuck it. How do I fire? Oh, so they just kind of move really slowly. Oh, like that. This is not bad. This is speeding up now. Oh, because it's like how oh, okay, I'm destroying myself there. What the hell? This game is pretty nice. This is hard, man. Oh, I killed him. Oh, yeah, they're really fucking close now. I have like nothing on them. Yeah, I'm gonna start moving side to side. Yeah, this game, yeah. Oh, fuck, you got me. A bunch of lives, so it's all good. God damn, they got me again. This is getting really bad now. Start throwing away my defenses. Fuck me, I strafed back in. Now they're really fast, oh shit. Oh, because yeah, if I didn't kill these dudes at the front, they'd be really fucking close. Yeah, I'm cooked past this point. I'm just getting the life though. This really isn't that hard though when you think about it. Yeah, fuck this game. I can't play this the whole day. Yeah, I get the gist of it. Yeah. Enemy shoot. Sprite. You gotta say it, yeah. But yeah, in this one, they're just kind of running at you, you know? So you know what? This could be like it's blocking everything. Like that whole thing is kind of like the wall, and I'll build up on it later, I guess. Enemy bullets. I need to make a new prefab. Enemy. 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 Laser. Bullets. Bro. Yeah, they're roughly the same size. Boom. Nah, it's just gonna be this, and it's gonna have a collider 2D. Shit, I'm gonna have to dip soon too. Fuck. It's good. Works. Enemy laser bullets. Stick it in the prefabs. This actually belongs in sprites. Alright, let's go. This fucking coroutine. Enemy lesser. Enemy lesser. When you shoot, it will instantiate. Enemy lesser. And no, now I gotta go to the enemy and give it a part. Side of it, it's like that's where it comes out of, you know. So yeah, this script would, instead of going in a weak enemy, it would actually go into the enemy laser script. Gotta import all this shit. Cojones. 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 breaking shit in my house, dude. Private floats enemy. Meet me at the oh shit, we gotta go. Oh shit, I gotta go, guys. See you later. So unfortunately, short stream today. I might continue this later. Probably will actually. This is the only day I stream. I'm not trying to spoil it here. But yeah, you guys take care. See you later.